It started like any other case, a missing person, a few scattered clues, and Hudson's quiet confidence that he and Rex would find the truth. But no one was ready for what this case would uncover. In Season 8, Episode 6 of Hudson and Rex, the show takes a turn that leaves even the strongest fans shaken. This wasn't just another mystery to solve. It was a test of love, loyalty, and loss. And in the end, it broke everyone's heart, including Rex's. Soft music fades in, the kind that feels heavy but calm. The camera would slowly pan across the city skyline, then cut to Hudson's face, quiet, determined, unaware of the emotional storm that's about to hit. The episode begins with calm, but we already feel something is off. Something painful. Something waiting just beyond the next clue. Hudson and Rex isn't just a crime show. It's a story about a man and his dog. Two partners who trust each other more than anyone else. Detective Charlie Hudson, sharp and fearless, has been through countless cases that test his heart as much as his mind. And by his side is Rex, a German shepherd with intelligence, instinct, and a bond so deep it often feels like he can sense Hudson's thoughts before he speaks. Together, they make an unstoppable team, solving crimes not just through skill, but through empathy. Over the seasons, we've seen them chase dangerous criminals, uncover dark secrets, and protect innocent lives. But what makes Hudson and Rex special is not just the action, it's the emotion. Every case carries a human story, a reason that makes Hudson pause and reflect on what justice really means. And Rex, he's more than a partner. He's family. The kind of loyal friend who never leaves your side, even when the world falls apart. As Season 8 unfolds, the bond between them has grown stronger, but so have the stakes. Each episode digs deeper into Hudson's personal struggles, the pain of loss, the weight of responsibility, and the quiet fear of losing the ones he loves most. By the time we reach Episode 6, this emotional thread finally unravels into something unforgettable. This episode begins like many others. A simple missing person case. A woman vanishes without a trace, and Hudson is called in to investigate. At first it feels routine. He and Rex work through clues methodically, their rhythm as natural as breathing. But soon, small details begin to feel different. The clues are too personal, the surroundings too familiar. It's as if this case is connected to something Hudson has buried deep inside himself. As the investigation continues, Rex grows uneasy. His instincts sharpen. He senses danger, tension, something hidden behind Hudson's calm expression. The air feels heavier, the tone darker. This isn't just another case. This is something that's going to change everything. And even before the heartbreaking twist comes, we can already feel the pain waiting in the shadows. The episode opens quietly. Soft morning light spills through Hudson's office window, dust floating in the air like tiny ghosts of old cases. Rex lies near the desk, his head resting on his paws, eyes half open but alert. It's peaceful. Almost too peaceful. Hudson sips his coffee, glances at a file, and mutters, "Just another missing person." But in Hudson and Rex, nothing is ever just another case. A young woman named Lily Carter has disappeared. No signs of struggle, no clear suspects, and no ransom note. At first, it feels like she simply vanished into thin air. Hudson begins his routine, checking phone records, tracing her last known steps, reviewing security footage. But something feels different. Every new clue carries a strange familiarity, like a half-remembered dream. Then comes the first twist. Hudson finds a photograph in Lily's apartment. It's old, faded, and nearly torn in half. On one side, a younger Hudson. On the other, Lily's father, a man Hudson once worked with years ago, a man he failed to save during a dangerous operation. The case suddenly becomes personal. The background music slows, a single piano note echoing as Hudson freezes. Rex tilts his head, sensing the shift in his partner's energy. Hudson's eyes harden. He whispers, "We've been here before, haven't we, boy?" Rex gives a quiet bark, as if to say, "Yes, and this time we won't lose." From that moment, the episode changes tone. The streets of St. John's feel colder, the colors darker. Every lead pulls Hudson deeper into memories he's tried to bury. He's not just chasing Lily anymore, he's chasing the ghosts of his past. But while Hudson's focus tightens, there's a scene where Rex pauses on an empty road, sniffing the air as if he can smell grief before it arrives. Hudson urges him forward, but the dog lingers, reluctant, warning, almost afraid. The silence between them says more than any line of dialogue could. The tension builds slowly, like a heartbeat growing louder in the quiet. Hudson's mind is in detective mode, but his heart knows this isn't a puzzle, it's a reckoning. And as the episode moves toward its midpoint, one truth becomes clear. This isn't just about finding Lily Carter. It's about Hudson confronting the pain he's carried for years, and what that pain might cost him this time. The moment arrives quietly, the kind of quiet that makes your chest tighten before you even understand why. The search for Lily leads Hudson and Rex to an abandoned cabin hidden deep in the woods. Its windows broken, its door half open like a wound. Snow falls softly, covering the footprints that brought them there. Everything feels still. Too still. Hudson steps inside, flashlight trembling slightly in his hand. Dust floats through the beam of light like drifting memories. The air smells of wood and rain, but there's something else, something heavy and familiar. Rex sniffs the floor. His body stiffens, tail low. He whines softly. That's when Hudson knows they're not just chasing a missing person anymore. They've walked straight into something far darker. In one corner, Hudson finds a small locket on the floor, engraved with a name. His hand freezes. The camera lingers on his face, the realization breaking through like a crack in glass. The locket belonged to Lily's father, the man Hudson once promised to protect, the man he couldn't save. And now it's lying here, beside a new tragedy waiting to unfold. Rex starts barking, sharp, urgent. He runs toward the back room, claws scratching against the wood. Hudson follows, heart racing. When he opens the door, the camera doesn't show what he sees, it only shows his reaction. His flashlight drops, rolling across the floor. His voice cracks. No, not her. For a few seconds, there's silence, only Rex's low, trembling whine. We don't need to see what happened, we feel it. The heartbreak, the guilt, the unbearable weight in Hudson's chest. Lily is gone. Another innocent life lost, and once again, Hudson was too late. He kneels beside her, his breathing shallow. Rex sits close, pressing his head against Hudson's arm, trying to comfort him. It's one of those rare scenes where a dog's eyes say more than any dialogue ever could. His expression, confusion, sadness, and something that looks like mourning. Hudson whispers, "I promised I'd never let it happen again." His voice cracks under the weight of regret. Rex lets out a soft howl, long, painful, echoing through the empty cabin. It's the sound of loss, of loyalty, of a bond that hurts because it cares too deeply. The music swells soft strings, almost breaking apart as Hudson wraps his coat around Lily's body, refusing to leave her there. Rex walks beside him, every step heavy, every breath slow. And as they step into the falling snow, it feels like time itself pauses, two souls carrying the weight of a promise that came too late. This is the moment no one saw coming. The one that breaks not just Hudson and Rex, but everyone watching. The snow keeps falling. Quiet and endless, as Hudson and Rex stand outside the cabin, the flashing lights of police cars cut through the white haze, painting everything in red and blue. Officers move around them, but Hudson doesn't move. He just stares at the ground, lost in the echo of what he couldn't change. Rex sits beside him, unmoving, his eyes locked on his partner, worried, loyal, heartbreakingly still. In that silence, we see it all, the guilt, the exhaustion, the breaking point. Hudson has seen death before, but this time it's different. This time, the loss isn't just part of the job. It's a mirror held up to everything he's been running from. Every unsolved case, every mistake, every life he couldn't save, all of it comes crashing back. The camera lingers on his face, the snow melting on his skin like tears he won't allow himself to shed. Back at headquarters, the team tries to console him. They tell him he did everything he could. But he knows that's not true, not this time. He replays every clue, every moment, every decision, wondering if he could have saved her. Rex lies near his feet, his head resting on Hudson's boot. That single gesture says it all. You're not alone. But yet, Hudson feels more alone than ever. Later that night, Hudson drives out to the pier, the same one he used to visit with Rex when cases became too heavy. The city lights reflect on the water like shattered stars. He sits in silence, the sound of waves mixing with his thoughts. Rex nudges his hand, trying to pull him back from the edge. Not a physical edge, but an emotional one. Hudson whispers, barely audible, "I keep losing people, buddy." Rex presses closer, his breath visible in the cold air, and Hudson finally breaks, his tears hidden in the dark. The final scene fades in with a slow piano melody. Hudson and Rex walk along the pier as dawn begins to rise. No words, no music swells, just the sound of footsteps and waves. Hudson's voiceover closes the episode. Some promises can't be kept. Hudson's voiceover closes the episode. Some promises can't be kept. But some bonds never break. The screen fades to black, and in that moment you realize Hudson and Rex isn't just a crime show. It's about healing, about love that survives grief, and about how sometimes the truest heartbreaks come not from what we lose, but from what we remember. Sometimes the quiet moments after the storm hurt more than the storm itself. The investigation may have closed, the reports may have been filed, but the pain doesn't leave with the paperwork. For Hudson, it lingers in the empty corners of his home, in the sound of Rex's paws echoing down the hall, in the memories that refuse to fade. He sits at his desk, surrounded by files, yet none of them matter. His mind isn't on the next case. It's still in that cabin, with the locket, the snow, and the silence that followed Rex. Sensing his partner's grief, behaves differently now. He stays closer, follows Hudson even when he doesn't have to. There's a haunting scene where Hudson reaches for his badge but stops midway, the camera catching the hesitation, the doubt. Rex nudges his hand, reminding him that duty still matters, that they still have a purpose. It's subtle, wordless, but powerful. That single touch from Rex feels like forgiveness, not from others, but from himself. The show uses this episode to remind us why Hudson and Rex has such a loyal following. It's not about solving crimes. It's about the human heart and how even heroes carry scars. Hudson isn't broken because he lost someone. He's broken because he feels. That's what makes him human. And that's what makes Rex, in his own way, more than just a dog. He's the mirror of Hudson's soul, loyal when Hudson doubts himself, brave when Hudson hesitates, and gentle when the world feels cruel. Fans online called this episode a silent heartbreak. They were right. There's no big explosion, no loud confrontation, just a man, a dog, and the quiet understanding that love always carries a cost. The closing image of Hudson and Rex walking into the sunrise isn't just symbolic, it's hopeful. Because even in loss, they keep moving. Even in pain, they stay together. That's the message of episode 6. That grief doesn't mean the story ends. Sometimes it's just the beginning of healing. And as the credits roll, viewers are left not just with tears, but with a truth that stays long after the screen fades. Heartbreak doesn't destroy love. It proves it was real. When episode 6 ended, silence filled the fandom before the tears did. Within minutes, social media lit up, not with anger, but disbelief. Viewers posted screenshots of Rex resting his head on Hudson's arm, calling it the most human moment on television this season. Fans said they had to pause the episode to breathe. Others admitted they rewatched the final 5 minutes just to understand why it hurt so much. It wasn't the twist itself, it was how quietly it broke us. On Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube comment sections, fans began connecting the dots, realizing how the entire episode had been foreshadowing this heartbreak. That old locket. It wasn't just a clue. It was a symbol of unfinished promises. The snowstorm outside the cabin? A metaphor for grief, cold and constant, impossible to escape. And Rex's howl. It wasn't just mourning. It was memory. The writers didn't use words to show pain. They used silence. Many longtime viewers said this episode reminded them of what Hudson and Rex truly stands for. Not the chase, not the cases, but the connection. The kind of bond that doesn't need language, only loyalty. One comment that went viral said, when Rex howled, "I realized grief doesn't only belong to humans." It's that single line captured the collective ache of everyone who's ever loved and lost. The showrunners later revealed in an interview that this episode was written to explore how even strength can look like sorrow. They wanted to strip away the heroism and leave Hudson bare. Just a man facing a truth he couldn't control, and they succeeded. Fans around the world called it the emotional core of Season 8, a reminder that even in a show built on justice, sometimes there's no one to arrest, no one to blame, just hearts trying to heal. And that's why this moment hit so deeply. It wasn't shock value. It was truth. The kind of truth that sneaks up on you, sits beside you in the quiet, and whispers, "You've felt this before, haven't you?"